we have the Casio CTK-611. This here is just your standard keyboard. Just your standard keyboard, stock sounds built in. You know, you got your usual grand piano. Then you got, synthetic sounds. And this bad boy here, you can usually find it at pawn shops, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, garage sales, surprisingly, because people are always selling things, and sometimes what they might feel that they don't need no more, you might be able to use. And this bad boy here, it has, it has that beat built in. It has my usual drum sounds built in on the thing, and it has different drum sets on here. But now I use this more like a synthesizer. So I treat all these sounds that's on here, I just run them into my mixer over there. And when I run them into my mixer, you can see it's running right into my DAW. As I'm recording all my vocals, it's recording. It's picking all that up as well. So for the people that know how to play free, they know how to actually play, this will work better as an option instead of trying to work with the keyboard the way I do it, just press the notes and go back in on the piano roll and plug it in. You can use this way by just playing by hand and just layering it on top of each other as it's going until you get a complete project and you're satisfied with it. I want to get to that point at some point in my career. That's why I got this mixer. I'll talk about that in another video when I go in more detail about mixers and how you use them and how they function on inside the studio and why I bought my mixer. But these three keyboards, they have a lot of different reasons. This one I can use as a MIDI board as well because it has a MIDI plug-in built in on the back. It also has a sustain plug-in on the back for a sustain pedal, and it also has a headphone out, which is what I'm using to take the sound out and running it into my mixer so I can capture the sound. So anything up in here I can use, and I can tweak it from here. I can tweak it there in my mixer. I can tweak it inside my DAW once I capture it. And it just gives me so many different options to create a one-of-one sound. And it's just, the options are endless. So it's no end to whatever I want to create. I can potentially create anything and everything between these three things and the sounds that's built into my DAW. I will be acquiring more pieces throughout time, and I'll be doing more videos talking about some of the other things I have in my studio, so you can understand a little bit better how I'm able to create the sounds that you guys hear me push out on my videos. And in time when I'll be working with other companies and working with different people doing different projects, you'll be able to get a better idea of the setup I use to create some of these things. So people won't be like, hey, can you do a how-to or a tutorial? Doing it now. Already doing it, been done. I encourage everybody to do it. Sometimes it's about creating content and being present and visible. And this is my way of making myself visible and present so you guys understand I'm knowledgeable at what I do, and I also have a desire to work. So let's have fun creating these things. But this right here is the Casio CTK-611. It's touch sensitive, so I can press it as gentle or I can bang on it. It'll play and register just like a regular keyboard, a regular piano. But this is one of my favorites right now because I'm just using this to create different sounds and experiment with different sound ideas. And that's what people call sound design. But it's something fun I like to do in my spare time to keep me sharp and to keep the creative ideas going. Because once I find an idea, I have fun with it and I run with it. But this keyboard, it varies. You can get this one. I had a hard time finding this one in particular, but I found different versions of it. I seen one as cheap as $30, and I seen one as high as $200. It just depends on exactly what you're going for and why you're buying it. And that's another thing when you're buying stuff for your equipment, make sure you know why you're buying it and how it's gonna function. It makes no sense to buy something if it's not gonna be used as soon as you buy it. I don't have the budget to buy something and just sit it to the side and find a perfect scenario to use it. Everything I buy, I want to use as soon as I get it, and the the reason why I'm usually getting it is to use it as soon as I buy it. So anybody that does want to increase their studio equipment or they want to add things to their arsenal, if you do it, have an intention on using it as soon as you get it. If not, you'll just be wasting money because it just be sitting up, and we can't afford to do that. So yeah. Also, another thing I like about this keyboard, when I bought it, it had all the keys labeled. Even though I can eyeball and tell which key is what, this helps tremendously. Sometimes when my mind, I have brain farts, and I'm not the only one. Sometimes you might forget which key you're pressing. You might need to look down at your hands. I ain't that good yet. I can't walk down this thing. I can't not walk down the keyboard with my fingers. But it is what it is.